Hello, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at part 2 of generating a sequence using the explicit rule. So let's take a look. Alright, so in this first example it says, communicating mathematical ideas. It says, explain how to find the 20th term of the sequence defined by the explicit rule. F of n is equal to n squared plus 2. F of n is equal to n squared plus 2. So remember that the explicit rule uses function notation. And one of the important things from it is that we don't need the previous terms to figure out what's coming next. So what we want to do is plug in this 20th term. So the 20th term is going to be our x, really. It's what we're going to plug in for the n and solve for that function. So I'm going to write that out, replacing the n with the 20th term. So I got f of 20 is equal to 20 squared plus 2. All right. So now f of 20 is equal to 400 plus 2. So that means f of 20 is equal to 402. So if we was going to do a sequence starting with 1, 2, 3, and 4 like we did in the previous video, by the time we got to 20, it will be 402. Okay, so this is what happens when they tell us what number term we're plugging in. Okay, on this next one where it says justify reasoning, the number 125 is a term of a sequence defined by the explicit rule. F of n is equal to 3n plus 2. Which term is the sequence? Which term in the sequence is 125? So what we want to do is figure out which term it is. Now, since we know the answer is 125, we're going to replace this f of n with 125 and figure out what n is. So I'm going to write that out. F of n is equal to 3n plus 2. And when we don't know what number we plug in for n, but when we do plug in that number, we get 125. So I'm going to replace this whole f of n out the way and replace it with 125. All right, and then I'm going to bring down this 3n plus 2. And now I'm going to go ahead and solve for n. So I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. I'm going to divide by 3. And n is equal to 41. All right, so n is the term, or this 125 is the 41st term. So if you count 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 41, the number you would get would be 125. Okay, so the most important thing you need to know here is figuring out which one you're looking for. Do they give me the term and want me to find out what the actual thing is going to be? Or do they tell me what it is and I have to figure out which term it is? But that is generating a sequence using the explicit rule, part 2. I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math. Have a nice day.